Welcome to Find It in Fergus Falls, here on location at the Salvation Army Thrift Store. I'm here today with Captain Anthony Norton, and what a bright, shining example of some progress being made right here in Fergus Falls. The thrift store, complete renovation. Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
If you haven't been here any of the past 4 weeks, you're like, I've been out of town, I'm a snowbird, or you've been snowed in. You hop in here and you're like, is this the same place?
Absolutely, yeah.
The wall, fresh coat of paint. We went from beige to white and a red line, and we've changed around our fixtures, and we've really focused on the 3 P's of thrifting: people, product, and presentation. So we've made an enjoyable shopping experience for the people. We've refreshed all of our product, and the presentation, we've just updated it for everyone who comes in, so they have a very enjoyable shopping experience.
It truly is. It's really a retail shopping experience now, that the product is laid out so nicely, it's organized and arranged. We found some great dresses that I'm trying to think of a purpose, because there's a lot of them, like really cool bridesmaid dresses. There's stuff for everything.
Stuff.
I'm like looking around at all the different options here, trying to find my purpose for taking it home with me.
Sure, the chamber can come up with something.
Oh, absolutely.
Or you can.
Yep.
Or, you could always do something for Halloween. You can buy it now. We're like, all right, we're going to be a bridal procession for Halloween or something.
Yeah.
There's tons of fun things you can do when you come in here. You can, and let's talk about why.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why buying stuff is important, since you seem to want to buy stuff.
Right. Another purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose behind the store.
So you might come in here and say, oh, this is, like, why are they charging these prices? It's like, well, we might get it for free, but when we sell it, it's to help our social service office. It's to go to help for lunch program and after school, and emergency social services, and our intergenerational poverty program that we help families trying to escape that cycle. So when people buy stuff,
it's truly with a purpose.
It's with a purpose, and you might get something out of it, but we get something out of it too, and we're able to help families when you buy something. So really, it's a win-win if you come thrifting here.
Absolutely, and you talked about some of those things. Like you said, it goes back to the social service programs of the Salvation Army. So let's talk a little bit more. I think about, a lot of times you'll have families that are changing locations, different homes, whether due to an emergency, a crisis, a fire, that type of thing. Salvation Army steps in.
Absolutely. You talk about fires. I can't believe how many fires we've had just in the past year.
Yeah.
So when families have those, they can go to our case managers at the Salvation Army. We have 2, one for emergency social services and one that's a part of a program called Pathway of Hope. Helps families escape the cycle of intergenerational poverty.
Sure.
And so they can come here and they get vouchers for clothes and furniture and appliances, and basically we do
starting over.
Yeah, setting up a whole new residence for them. So if that's what's important when you donate here, you might say, well, I have this stuff to donate, and we might say, well, we can take that but not that. That's frustrating, and we understand that, but there's also certain items we can't take, since we're talking about giving things out.
Sure.
We also have to be careful about what we take in. I don't know how many of our people watching remember our wonderful console TVs.
Just saw one the other day, lifted it up, there was the spinner in there, turntable, turntable, and the big TVs, or the big tube TVs that take up half the room.
So there are certain things we can't take, and that's simply because they don't sell anymore.
Right.
So that way we're able to bring in stuff that clients would need and use, because we do have limited space here.
Right.
So,
and it's not just the store space too. You have limited storage space.
Yep.
For, you have a great team of volunteers. Always could use more volunteers to sort through all the fabulous donations that come in, or maybe some they aren't quite as fabulous as people thought they were. I think of really outdated and clothing, like you had mentioned when we did the grand opening here, how if it's been in a closet or in a drawer or in a box for the last 5-10 years, things wear out and decay like
you might not
elastic.
even realize it has.
Yeah, right.
No one ever realizes that their tires might dry rot until they go to pull it out of the garage or go to use it, and all of a sudden the tire pops, and you're like,
how did that happen?
Yeah, that was fine last time I checked it.
Yeah, things wear out.
Yeah, same thing with clothes. Like, you don't realize sometimes how things like elastic and such like that fails if you don't use it, or
you can't keep the same bathing suit for 15 years.
We'll go with that. Let's go with that.
Absolutely. So again, your crew here goes through all of the merchandise that is donated and makes it presentable, makes sure, that it's not falling apart and all those different things, and gets it out out in the showroom.
Probably
out in the retail space.
One of my greatest sources of pride is when I walk in here, besides today, because today we were getting some carpeting done up front. It doesn't smell like mothballs. That for me is a great source of pride from when I was a kid and walking in thrift stores. You always smelled that cotton balls.
Right.
Or there was that smell when you walk in here and I don't smell anything.
Right.
Except for today. But when you walk in, that's for me a great experience. When I walk into a thrift store, I don't smell anything. I just get to enjoy that experience of just shopping without, why does it smell like cotton balls or like mothballs in here?
And it is, right now, it is so fresh and bright, like you said, with the bright white walls, with the red trim, symbolizing Salvation Army. And it's just neat and arranged very nicely. It's not crowded. They've done a fantastic job.
As we can see behind us, the furniture is a little...
Yeah, so do you guys need some furniture donations?
Absolutely. Ever since COVID started, March 2020, we've had constant furniture issues as people have stayed at home a lot.
Right. Stuff wears out when the kids are bouncing on the couch a lot.
We also got a lot of stuff from lake homes, where they replace their furniture. They're not doing that as much.
No, because it's taking folks a lot longer to get furniture. So normally where the new furniture, if they bought something, would be in a couple weeks, now it's months. So there's that lag time that, people I don't think would realize that the supply chain would hit thrift stores, but it does because people aren't.
We used to always have 2 or 3 couches just sitting here waiting to be purchased, or a table. Like our new mattress area used to be just full of furniture, but we've just been so dry on it. And some other items, like people haven't been donating a lot of blue jeans.
Okay.
So like there's some items that we're realizing really as we've gone through this, it's like people are holding on to what they have longer, or taking better care of it. So we're seeing less of it. So for those folks who are like, I haven't fit into this in like 5 years. Maybe I should donate.
It's time to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it find some joy with someone else.
Yep.
Absolutely. So speaking about that, donations, when do you accept donations?
Going back to your point, we get a lot of it in.
Yeah.
We accept Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at this moment. Changes depending on
your space, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, and the reason it's only 3-hour section is because we fill up that quick.
Right.
So people are like, why doesn't it go to like 4 or 5? It's like, because if we did that, we would never have enough time to put the stuff out.
Right.
So that's why it goes back to volunteers. We might have a couple or a few every day, but we could always use more because there's just so much stuff coming in the back. We need as much help as we can get to get it out. So we are kind of hamstrung by not, if we had an extra volunteer or 2 a day, we could empty out the back much faster and probably keep our donation hours open longer.
Absolutely. So if folks want to volunteer, again, you'd be doing something with purpose too, that you're really helping so many other families.
And you get a great discount.
Well, hey, see? That's something too. Plus you'd be the first one to see stuff.
There's a rule there, and I'm going to say this because I always hear about this. The rule is, if you're a volunteer and employee, it has to be on the floor 24 hours. And
no hiding things.
And you have to put it where it goes.
Right.
Which goes back to our camera system, our wonderful new camera system, so we can both monitor that and some of the theft we had a few years ago, which is fine. And moving on to one of the newer things, dumping has been a huge issue for us.
That's expensive. For you, that's an expense that takes away from what you can do for your social service programs. If folks are dumping their unwanted things here, this is not by any means garbage. This is all fabulous merchandise, but folks can't just drop off.
Remember the console TV I told you about?
Yeah.
What happens if someone dumps it?
It costs you money, lots of money to go take it to the dump.
I think the dump is like $25 plus for just a tube TV.
Right.
So you imagine one tube TV, if someone has 2 or 3, it gets really expensive very quickly. So we've installed some weatherproof cameras out back, weather resistant.
Yes.
In Minnesota, nothing's weatherproof. So we're going to really keep an eye on dumping because that's a huge expense to us.
Right.
And we're really trying to keep those things. It's like, yes, we want the stuff you want to donate. If you can please donate it during donation hours, or even call and say, hey, I don't get off work till 3 or 4.
Sure.
I've got 2 or 3 bags of clothes. Can I just swing in there? you talk to Gretchen, you can usually try to work something out depending on what it is.
Right, and Gretchen being your new store manager
Absolutely.
here,
She's done a wonderful
very well
job.
known in the community and has been doing a great job here. The store looks fantastic. Again, the merchandise looks great. Always a smiling face behind the mask. You can tell they're smiling.
Oh yeah. Well,
their eyes light up.
Yeah, they have done a great job, and they've really, and the entire team's pitched in. As soon as we started, everyone's like, "I have an idea."
That's awesome.
So you might go around and you might hear about the big things, but the small things, like our electronics section, actually has wrapping on the things it's all set on, and that was the person who did electronics. She's like, "I'd like to make this look nice." So now there's some, I forget what they call it, but there's a wrapping on the wooden boards so that it's not just a piece of like particle board you see.
Sure.
Actually,
looks nice.
Looks better.
Great display.
And that, it was her idea. So as we went through this, a lot of our staff are like, we have, I've worked here, Anita's worked here for 28 years this year.
Wow.
And she's like, I have an idea of what I'd like to see, because she didn't get an input when it was built, but now she has some input as we're fixing things.
Sure.
So now she's getting to input what she'd like to do to make it easier on her and make it look nicer for everyone who comes here.
Which is fantastic. Well, you've got a great team here at the thrift store. What are the hours that you're open so folks can come and enjoy this great newish redone facility? I mean, it looks fabulous.
So if you're watching this around January of 2022, it's 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday. That can change, and I just want to make sure everyone knows it can change.
Yes. Again, I think it's kind of the sign of the times, depending on staffing and all those different things.
Sorry, February, not January.
Yeah. Yeah, it is February. I was going along with you. Yeah, sure, it's January. Well, let's not stay in winter any longer than we need to, right?
Well, silly groundhog.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've got a fantastic store here that folks can come in and thrift. They can donate. Furniture is a high need. As you mentioned, jeans, children's clothing, I would imagine, very high need.
Children's clothing seems to go, and I have kids, so it seems to go through the cycle of we give it to a family member and the family member returns it back to us when we have the next kid. It's like, so it goes in cycles, and by the time it gets here, it's so stained. It's like,
sure.
I can't.
There are some things that should just be shredded.
Yeah, if I wouldn't put it on my kids when it's donated, I'm not putting it out for someone else's kid.
And that's how folks should look at donations. That is, if they would not give it to a friend or family member, then don't donate it.
It's an easy way to think about it if you're going to donate something, because we're going to resell it. But there's also another option. If they have this bag of clothes that's no good, and they're like, what am I going to do with this? We recycle clothes.
Sure.
So they can say, this is a bag of recycled clothes. This is not good clothes, so could you please recycle this for me? We have a trailer just to our side that recycles clothes. So if people are like, I do have this bad bag, we can still do something with it. We just need to know ahead of time.
Yes, not make the volunteers have to sort through it and
rip it open,
yeah, afterwards. So it's a good idea to mark things too.
Absolutely.
As far as what's in the box, what's in the bag, that type of thing too. So, wow, it has been an amazing transformation. Not only your team helping, but also the crew with Sentence to Serve. Pat Griffith and the guys were just,
Todd.
They've done amazing work here.
So if you've ever wondered what your taxpayer dollars do, Sentence to Service was here. They got started about a month before we closed because we realized painting this building is a bigger project than I gave it credit for.
It's big.
If we would have started when I wanted to, we would have been in a lot of trouble. So Pat and Todd came in with their crew and painted everything, got the fixtures up. They just finished some of the carpet up front this morning. They redid the camera system. They've just gone through the store and just brought it up to what it needs to be. And I couldn't thank Sentence to Service enough. It might be a county program, but the state is the one that helped establish it. So it's your taxpayer dollars at work. It's really helping us be able to do the 3 Ps to the community. So without them, we never would have got this done.
Yep. People,
product, presentation.
Love it. We'll throw in there parking, purpose.
There's a whole lot of P's you can throw in there,
persistence.
But you got to keep with the 3 or else it starts expanding.
Gets out of your hands a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Captain Norton, if folks want to know more about Salvation Army and the purpose and the mission that you have, as well as the thrift store, what's the best way to get in touch with you or to find out more?
So, it depends how tech savvy you want to be. I mean, if they want to write down a phone number, 218-739-8255. 9692 is our social service office, since where I usually am at most of the time.
Right.
But then there's also online, you can go, there's a contact us form. My email is if you type Fergus Falls, Salvation Army, and then scroll to the bottom for our page, like our main website page. My name and phone numbers and email addresses down there. So there's multiple ways to get a hold of us. If you want to volunteer and you're like, I just don't want to go to the office, you can actually fill out a volunteer application online. It's really super simple.
And you'll take pretty much any amount of hours that people are able to give, I would bet.
If someone only works 1 or 2 hours a week and they're like, I've got an hour I can spare on a Monday just to come in and sort some stuff. We have a wonderful lady who's retired who does our linens. She's here twice a week for 2 to 3 hours, and she refills the linens, and we wouldn't be able to do it without her, because
That's fantastic.
There's just so much work here to do, and we only have such a limited amount of time to do it. So.
Yep. A lot of opportunities for folks
absolutely.
to get involved, to make a very positive impact too.
We have a young lady who just does books. She comes here once a week for 3 hours and tags and puts books out and rotates the old ones out. So there's absolutely always something that someone can do if they want to come in and do it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, again, congratulations.
Thank you, Lisa.
The store looks fantastic. Your team has just done an amazing job. And again, having a fabulous and very shoppable thrift store certainly makes Fergus Falls a great destination too.
Absolutely.
We know people travel for miles to thrift, and plus you're also serving folks in our own backyard.
Fun story, when COVID first started, when we reopened, people were actually traveling for over an hour to come thrift here because we were the only ones open.
Right.
So you're right, people do travel for quite a while.
They travel, and plus too, you're taking care of so many individuals and families right here in the Fergus Falls area, especially in a time of need too.
Absolutely.
So again, keep up the good work. You guys are doing an amazing job, and we look forward to having this continue to grow as an organization and as a destination in Fergus Falls.
Thank you, Lisa.
You bet. Well, we will be back after a short break.